Let's talk.
Giles Brown.
Close encounters of the police kind. Incredible true stories of UFO sightings by British police officers. Follow Inspector Roy Teague down the rabbit hole as he explores the intriguing world of UFOs and other inexplicable events told by the professional witnesses, the UK police officers. Delighted to say that joining me, it's not a green light in the sky, it's not a blue light either, but it's Roy Teague. Roy, good morning to you, sir.
Hello, I hope you can hear me and I'm coming across loud and clear. It's awesome to be here.
Well, it's very good to have you. For those who don't know, Roy, explain your background. I mean, obviously, I'm looking at your brilliant office and I can see quite a few items that sort of delineate your career. So explain who you are to the listeners, please.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So I served 6 years in the UK Armed Forces, did a couple of tours of Northern Ireland, tour of Bosnia in the Balkans, left after 6 years and then joined Surrey Police, where I served for about 4.5 years, transferred from Surrey Police up to West Midlands Police as a sergeant, and 14 years later got promoted to inspector, and I'm currently still a serving officer now.
I mean, I have the very great pleasure of having quite a few friends in the thin blue line, as it were, and professional witnesses. That's what police officers are. They are not supposed to be taken by flights of fancy. So if you say UFOs and the British police, people are going to go, yeah, right. So what was the spark, Roy, to this particular to the book? What made you think these? How did you come to write this one?
I've always been interested in the unknown. I believe there are things within sort of our world and beyond that we don't understand. And I believe because of it, we shy away from talking about it, especially servants of the Crown. So one night I got home from a late shift. There was a documentary on called UFOs and Nukes about how UFOs had been over American military bases and had made their nuclear missiles inoperable. I did some research, found it had happened sort of all over the world, China, Russia. And I thought, well, why would these witnesses make these things up? I don't believe that they would. And then I started thinking, well, who make the most professional witnesses to this type of phenomena? And for me, by virtue of the training, police officers are certainly up there. And for that reason, I started delving into UFO cases involving police officers, specifically United Kingdom police officers, appeal for witnesses, and I went from there. I've spoken to over 250 officers now who've witnessed UFOs or UAPs, as they're called these days, is the trendy term, and it's just gone from there and spiraled out of control.
What's the P for, Roy? Is it projectiles or are we?
Phenomenon.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Unexplained aerial phenomenon.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just how far back are we going here? I mean, this isn't a new phenomenon, is it? This has been presumably people have been reporting on this since. I mean, when I was a kid, in the 70s, it was like UFOs. They were really sort of like front and center of the news.
Absolutely. I mean, the first ever sighting I got from a UK police officer was from 1966, a guy called PC Stenner, right, when his police car was knocked out, made inoperable by a UFO near Lawsgate Airport, which is now Bristol Airport. But if you really want to find out when UFOs start to be reported, it is my professional opinion that the lid came off and we started to get a lot more sightings in 1945. And I'm going to tell you the reason for that. And the reason for that is because that is when we detonated our first nuke on soil, as in, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Yeah. And I genuinely believe whatever they are took notice and thought, oh dear, the kids have found the matches. We're going to have to keep an eye on these. And that is when sightings went through the roof. And from that day to this, they've continued.
Okay, that's interesting. So as soon as the nukes sort of went off in the end of the Second World War, you reckon that was a wake up call for whoever maybe had us on their sort of on their watch menu, as it were, on their watch list?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
When people come through, because again, I mean, there's a lot of ribbing in the organisation. You know, you're military and you're police, and you know how much banter there is in ribbing. If somebody, I mean, there are sort of legion cases of RAF and, you know, American Air Force pilots, you know, coming up against, you know, Foo Fighters, etc. Not the band, that's where it originally comes from. But how sort of willing were people to? I mean, were police officers believed? Were they like, yeah, okay, Perkins, you know, maybe you'd had too many coffees that night? Because again, it's if you suddenly say, you know, Sarge, I don't know how to explain this, but
I think that police officers are reluctant to report this phenomenon if they see it, on the basis that they just fear the ridicule and negative stigma that it's going to bring them, and the potential damage it'll do to their careers and their professional reputation. That's with senior officers and the people they crew up with in the cars. Yeah. So I think people are reluctant to come forward. I think it's got better, especially now we've had a lot of the Pentagon video releases and people are more open to talk about it, because we've had a lot of whistleblowing going on lately. So I think it's getting better, but it's still a little bit of a taboo subject.
Here's the thing, right? I'm just thinking about, because I'm thinking laterally as I do this. Do you think that police officers, when you see these sightings, are these sightings at the scene of an event, of a crime, or are they're just driving back from somewhere? Because obviously, you know, motorway police are going to be driving more than. Or do you think those who are watching us would be attracted because something's happened and there are police officers there? You see where I'm coming from here?
I think it's a bit of both. I mean, I've certainly had accounts where officers are driving along just on routine patrol, for example. I've had a guy on the A19 up at Seaton Burn, routine patrol, and he's had one chase his car for 3 miles, nearly took the lights off the police car. I mean, the police usually chase, bandit vehicles, the bad guys. But on this occasion, I've got a police officer, in fact, 2, being chased by a UFO along the A19, which eventually shot off down the A1. And then I've had people who have gone to scenes. I spoke to a guy, and they won't mind me naming, they're all great people, a guy called PC McHugh, and he went to a violent disorder in Birmingham in 2010. And whilst the disorder was taking place with a lot of people in the street, a J-shaped, what he describes as a J-shaped UFO turned up in the sky. Someone seen it and said, what the hell is that? Yeah. For want of a better expression. And it's actually quelled and stopped the disorder. So you've had, the 2 warring families having a fight with the police, stopping the tracks with the police to all watch this UFO in the sky. Now, I call it the Only Fools and Horses UFO, on the basis that there's a very good scene in Only Fools and Horses where there's a riot. Del Boy, he honks his horn on his Reliant Robin, and you're laughing. I can see you laughing, because you probably know this, the scene in the series. And that is exactly what happened on this occasion. So, yeah, it's routine patrol, and it's when they go to incidents. Perhaps whatever these things are up in the sky, and whoever's piloting them, are attracted to the blue lights or the drama that's unfolding in between them. For all we know, a lot of people think it's the goldfish bowl mentality or the zoo mentality, where we're just being monitored like we would monitor animals in a zoo, and because we're the lesser intelligent species of the two, and maybe they're just attracted to the drama of the incident unfolding. Yeah, well, in which case we should be seeing them every day at the moment. But the thing is as well, but you've got missing time. Now that's spooky. I mean, it's all very well seeing lights in the sky, but you've got incidents where. And again, because of the nature of your work, time is very important. Time checks are very important. What you do to, if you're putting in data for evidence. So, I mean, that must be quite an interesting one, where people are, officers report that they've actually skipped a period of time. Yeah, I mean, there's very famous ones like the Alan Godfrey case, but obviously I never interviewed him, but I have interviewed several, and one of them was a guy from what is now Police Scotland. He was up at Arboyne Police Station, and he's been told there's a lot of reports coming from the public of something unusual in the sky. So he's coming from his east, from Aberdeen, and he doesn't see it in the sky, but he sees what he describes as a rolling power cut coming from the east towards him, and then the lampposts are going out, like sort of some spooky horror film, really. Yeah. Then, as the lamppost goes out near his marked police car, his police car then goes dead, and that's when he looks up in the sky and he sees this thing. I did neglect to mention, just prior to this coming, he had a call on the radio, saying, "Can you look out for this thing? Because we've had these calls." So he then says, "Yes, I will." And of course, 30 seconds later, he sees this thing, and then as soon as it passes over his head, within about 50, 100 metres, this car comes sort of back to life, and the street lamppost has come on. He then jumps on the radio and says, look, that thing's just flown over my head. And they turn around to him and say, but where the hell have you been? We've been trying to get you on the radio for an hour. Now, he said he doesn't feel like he's lost any time, but so maybe time moves differently when you're around these things. However, since then, he's had an MRI and he's got like an implant, he believes, behind his right eye. He's had dreams where there are people around his bed that he remembers back from a kid. He thinks this is all connected, and it's clearly, in my opinion, a classic abduction case, but this is highly unusual because it involves a police officer on duty. I could go on and on. I mean, there's another guy, a PC, Flanagan, who worked in Tyneside Police, now called a different police force, but he was with his family, and he's going along a road in Cambridge, and as they're around the corner, there's a huge, an oblong cigar-shaped UFO, half above a road and half above a cornfield. And as he drives underneath it, it just disappears in the blink of an eye. And within 30 seconds, he's feeling very tired. He looks in the back of his car. His whole family, his 2 kids, his wife have fallen asleep within 30 seconds, and even the dog. He thinks, I'm going to crash the car because I'm falling asleep. He pulls into a lay-by, and he wakes up 2 hours later, and his opinion, it was manufactured by whatever that craft was.
I mean, do we have any sort of, we're not going down the little grid, but you mentioned abduction. I mean, presumably nobody says, I was abducted and I saw them, or do they, Roy?
I've never had anybody say that they've seen the occupants of these aerial phenomena. I've never had that. I've had some civilian witnesses contact me saying that they have, but never a sworn constable. Maybe I will one day. That would be very intriguing, but to this date I haven't. They've all been sightings of craft.
I mean, the obvious question is: Are these craft? Is it near military installations? Is it near power plants? Is there a pattern there, or is it totally random?
It's totally random, seen at loads and loads of different places.
And what about the actual, do you see, because you mentioned there's a J-shaped craft, there's one that's cigar, sort of oblong shape. Is there a sort of a narrative or a similarity? Because you're looking for the similarities rather than going, oh, well, this one was this shape, this one was, you must, with these cases, see a pattern there, though, surely. So is there a sort of uniform pattern of the craft or the modus operandi then?
No, I personally think that, obviously the saucer shape, the cigar shape, the triangular shape that have been, seen over the last 30, 40 years. I think there are different UFOs for different purposes. The same as we would have planes in the sky, we have different planes, don't we? We have military jet, we have crop dusting planes, we have commercial jets, and they're all planes in the sky going from A to B, but they are used for different purposes, and that's what I believe these are. And who's to say you're dealing with one civilization? We could be talking about several here. I think until we get these craft, we won't know. But I believe we have them. I believe the United States certainly have several of these, but they're never going to admit that. So
when you sort of started off with this book and when you finished it, did you have a different sort of opinion because of the evidence that came up? And you must have thought it must have gone as a sort of a relatively quiet, you thought a relatively quiet request, and then you get all these stories coming in, and you're like, oh blimey, I've really opened the box now.
Well, I went from being on the fence to quietly convinced to now believing beyond all reasonable doubt, as we say in a court of law, that there is something quite extraordinary in the skies, not above just the United Kingdom, but the rest of the world. So I have come to that conclusion based on all of the officers I've spoken to, in particular the police officers. You've got to ask yourself the question, do you think that all these police officers, do you think that all these military witnesses are all either mistaken or lying? All of them. I certainly don't think so. And I think if the case was put before a court of law, I think it would be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Absolutely 100% for me.
Fascinating. The book is called Close Encounters of the Police Kind. Incredible true stories from of the unexplained from British police. It's by Inspector Ron Teague. Ron, if people want to continue the discussion, are you on the socials? Is there a website? Where can people find you?
I am so glad you asked me that question, because I was thinking, how do I drop that in without making it obvious?
That was your mind control. You see, you've had some alien mind control, and you can put it down the wires to me, Roy.
Hey, this is it. Well, if anybody wants to contact me, whether, law enforcement or not, it doesn't matter what you do for a living. If you have got a case you want to talk about, then you can contact me via email, and I will always reply to people. So my email address is royteague@blueyonder.co.uk. So that's ROYTEAGUE @blueyonder.co.uk. Guaranteed to always reply. Love to hear from people.
And also, if you want to order the book, go to our own virtual bookstore, which is on our website. Click on that, and it will be winging its way to you by a delivery firm. We don't have UFOs working out of southern Spain, but there you go. Roy, what are you up to next then? I mean, are you going to sort of continue? You must be continuing this particular line of questioning and investigation.
Yeah, it's become a passion. It's gone from sort of being, reasonably interested to it's kind of taken over a large sort of chunk of my life. And the only goal I have are to, collate these accounts and then share them with the rest of the world so they're not forgotten. So that's my main goal, and I will keep going and keep going and keep going. So I think the book will be a first of many, but I just want to get these accounts out there so people around the world know that this is happening. To not just, Joe the plumber. These happening to sworn constables, military personnel, firefighters, Coast Guard, paramedics, and get those stories out there. The book is called Close Encounters of the Police Kind. Listeners, go forth and order it. It's by Inspector Roy Teague, who is speaking today. Roy, it's been an eye-opener and a pleasure to speak to you today. Likewise. Thanks for having me on.